Hi, my name is Mike Larson, and I am planting a church in Bellflower, California called Encounter Christian Church. I was sent by Oasis HD in Hesperia, and me and my wife were called to Bellflower to replant a church that was 80 years old. Sadly, they were having more funerals than they were baptisms, and so they were in desperate need of a new vision and a new mission there. One real exciting thing, when we got some boots on the ground, I got with the lead team, and we decided to take them to a book that would help cast vision for becoming a missional community and thinking outwardly, loving our neighbors, and fulfilling the Great Commission. And so I gave them 3 instructions, and this truly came from the Holy Spirit. The first instruction was to highlight the things in the book that really wowed us and that just really stood out. And so we did that. And then the second instruction was to underline what we see already in the midst, like God already doing. And then the third instruction was to highlight and star the areas that we were convicted that we weren't doing very well and that we would like to grow in. And so as we went through the book, each week we did a chapter a week, and we got to spend time together. In that time, we got to know each other as a community, and it really started to solidify some of the friendships and our core team. And so we would go through this book, and we'd open it up, and I'd just say, okay, what'd you highlight? What wowed you? What stood out? And it would go around the room, and we'd see this collective wowing of the whole lead team. And so we would stop and we'd pray and we'd thank God for speaking to us. And it affirmed some things with the lead team that for the first time, they're recognizing that God is speaking to them again. And then the second instruction was, where do we see God already working? What did you underline? And so that's all I asked them. What did you underline? And so they would say, go around the room, and there was this collective seeing God moving in their midst, and it brought this excitement. And so we would stop and we'd thank God for doing, working in midst of the church. And so we were really grateful for that. And then it would come to the last instruction, and I'd say, okay, what did you highlight and what did you star, and where can we grow? And so there was this collective conviction that was birthed around the lead team of the things that God would call us to do that we weren't doing. And so we would just pray for God to give us the strength to get outward. One instance was we affirmed that what we were doing, it was like the church was really good at community, but they never really crossed the threshold with their neighbors with bringing the gospel to them. And so we were convicted about loving our neighbors with the gospel and telling them about Jesus. The cool thing was, my big idea with this whole thing was to take these 2 groups that we were going through the book with, and then really put some boots on the ground in January. We started this in the fall of 2014. And so my big idea was to start this in January and put these 2 groups to actual work in their communities. And by the 5th or 6th week going through the book, the lead team was already doing it in their own neighborhoods. And we were seeing people come to the church and come to faith. And so we were super grateful for that. And as I started casting that vision, okay, these 2 groups need to go, and we're going to put some boots down. They begged me not to, that we could start more groups. And they were convicted that they needed to start more groups in their communities. In January 2015, we launched 5 missional communities. And so we started these missional communities, and they started to reach their neighbors, and we started seeing a steady flow of visitors come to the church. And by God's grace, we saw 17 people confess their faith, and out of those 17, 15 of them were baptized. This is a great thing that this church hasn't seen in over a decade. We have not seen, this church has not seen baptisms in over a decade, and so we are so grateful that God was doing these great works. And we're just going to continue this missional communities and planting missional communities in and around the Bellflower area. We are so grateful for the support that we have received from you, your prayers and your financial support, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. And I just want you to know that Jesus is alive. He is speaking to his people. He is moving amongst the people in the church, and he is saving people in the community. And so thank you for all your support. God bless you.